My report is on homeless families by Teresa Sturgeon. In 2018, Utah had an estimate of almost 3,000 people experiencing homelessness on any given day. About 287 family households experiencing homelessness. Compared to our almost 2,000, California has almost 7,000 homeless people on any given day. Here in Utah, a lot of families double up in households, so they don't get counted in the homeless study. So here in Davis County, there's about 137 homeless persons. And then out of that, there's about 30 that are chronically homeless. Statewide in Utah, families make up about 35% of the people experiencing homelessness. Nationally, Utah has a slightly lower percentage of 35.1% of homeless persons and families, and nationally it's about 41%. Internationally, the United Nations had an estimate of 100 million people were homeless worldwide, and as many as 1.6 billion were lacking adequate housing. So the biggest thing that I found was the pricing in Utah has gone up. And then they're not making as much. The average was about $13. And so it's not enough to pay for the housing costs that rose. And a lot of people that have been to prison are less likely to have the public assistance to get a home. So my specific concerns, again, is that the average fair market rent, that's just for rent, for a 2-bedroom apartment in Utah is about $885 per month. So the renters would need to make $17 per hour to afford that amount, but an average renter makes about $13.26 per hour. And then there's victims of domestic violence and mental health issues make up a large part of the homeless population in Utah. And then one study showed 961 at one point were victims of domestic violence. So the one root cause to the problem of homelessness are families are the high prices of housing and the low wages. So their needs that have been met would be love, because the family is together, and then unmet would be the physical stage, because they need food, water, sex, and sleep is harder to get. So homeless children are at risk of upper respiratory infections, skin problems, and gastrointestinal disorders. A lot of teaching about health is given to the parents, and then if they're sick, they are referred to community agencies. So the likely health outcome for homeless families are undernourished and needing more care than the families that have a home. One study found that about half of the homeless children have health insurance. That's only half. So the diseases that they find with the homeless population is HIV and AIDS, hepatitis C, TB, and then for the kids, the upper respiratory infections skin problems in their stomach. So the non-communicable disease that they find in the homeless are diabetes and hypertension. Suicide and attempted suicide, not taking care of mental health issues, and unable to get needed medications are some of the specific concerns with self-care and self-harm. So the risk for harm by or to others is the mental health problems and substance use disorders makes this population vulnerable to harm. So the approach that they are doing for prevention and support is a housing first approach. So they try to make sure that they can find a place that they can live so that they can be safe, and that's the first step that they want to do. And then they want to strengthen crisis response system, so identification of the homeless, making sure that they find the people that need the help, and then engage with them. And then they want to take them to emergency shelters until they can find them a place where they can live. And then integrate healthcare. They try to give them services through Medicaid and Medicare. And then reduce the criminal justice involvement. So roughly 48,000 people entering shelters every year are coming nearly directly from prisons or jails. Of the 11 million people detained or incarcerated in jails every year, as many as 15% report having been homeless.